What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the No Gimmicks podcast here on the DFPN. Got a good show for you guys tonight. Thank you for tuning in, giving us your time. Real quick, want to send a special shout out to my partner in crime on this network thing. Shout out to Mac, aka your boy. Thoughts and prayers with you tonight, and nothing but positivity sent your way, brother. So we'll be holding down the fort for you here, and look forward to when you come back, man. But for now, hope you take some comfort with your family, man. For real. But for everybody else, if you are listening to the sounds of our voices and you are not watching us live, please join us on the Patreon at www.patreon.com/thatfeelingpodcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the Bandcamp, thatfeeling.bandcamp.com. We have new music merch. MRK Mondays are officially back. He's been dropping new music, and make sure you guys go check that out. We do also have merch. Go to our Teespring, search That Feeling Podcast. There's already been some merch pictures posted. If you do happen to buy our merch, please make sure you go take pictures and you post that for us. Shout out to Mission Pro Wrestling as well. Last Saturday was their True Colors event, and it was a very successful event. And we had three participants that we sponsored here on No Gimmicks that put on one hell of a show during this event. Shout out to Maya World and shout out to Brittany Brooks. For all intents and purposes, please go watch this match at titlematchwrestling.com. You can get this entire pay-per-view. If you subscribe, you get all the pay-per-views for free. And this was one of those. They're slowly building up a great event schedule. So make sure you guys go check them out. But Maya World versus Brittany Brooks was one hell of a match. It was a banger. Reminded me of Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. No exaggeration there. It was a great match. Maya World ended up pulling out the win. Shout out to her, and shout out to Gigi Ray, who participated in the four-way tag match for the tag team titles at Mission Pro. All in all, a very good event. Shout out to Mission Pro Wrestling. Fabulous Frankie D, what is up, man?
Hey, man. Same shit, different day, right?
Same shit, different day. Now, we were talking beforehand. WWE decided they wanted to give us new belts. They gave Asuka, after our last show, Asuka received the WWE Women's Undisputed title. And this past Monday, Rhea Ripley received the Women's World title, effectively throwing more chaos our way on what belt is actually prestigious, the prestigious one. Now, here's my thought. Because Asuka holds the Undisputed title, Roman Reigns holds the WWE Undisputed title, it seems to me that these are the more important championships in the WWE. I say that because A, Roman Reigns holds the men's version of that title. B, Asuka holds the women's version of that title. And guess who's challenging for that title? Lo and behold, we got a returning Charlotte, and she staked her claim to challenge for that title, further angering poor Bianca Belair, who is just shit out of luck. But it seems to me that these are the more important championships in the WWE.
So this actually is going to work out great for Bianca Belair because I predict Bianca is about to turn heel.
Oh, me too.
It's much needed. And this is going to be excellent when they pull this off.
Yes.
The story is being written there. Same thing with Montez Ford. It's time to turn the other way. It's time to join the dark side. As far as the lineage of the championships go, we have discussed this here on No Gimmicks, and I want to say this. So Roman Reigns is the WWE undisputed champion, or the undisputed whatever he is.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've read is right now, as long as Roman is the undisputed champion, the lineage of the WWE championship is paused until further notice. Roman,
Wait, what?
yeah. So Roman Reigns, because remember, Roman has the WWE championship and the the Universal Championship.
Right.
So the lineage for the WWE Championship, dating all the way back to Hulkamania, Pedro Morales, Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Bret Hart, the list goes on and on of illustrious people who have had that championship. The lineage is paused until Roman drops the belt, and no one knows when that's going to be. So there you go with the lineage. They're only counting right now. They're only counting the Universal Championship lineage for Roman Reigns, not the WWE Championship. I think they did that because they realized that there ain't no way in hell he's catching up to Hogan. There ain't no way he's going to catch up to Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino, none of these guys. He's not going to do it. So that's the rabbit they pulled out, right there and said, hey, we're going to pause the lineage of the WWE Championship. We're just going to go with the Universal Championship lineage. And you're absolutely correct. Charlotte Flair coming back to wrestle Asuka, potentially beat Asuka for the Undisputed Women's Championship, opens up the door for a fresh program between her and a heel Bianca Belair. Correct. I'm predicting is going to happen here. Also, real quick, then we'll talk about the reveal of the other women's championship that happened on Raw. I want to say this real quick about the Bloodline storyline, which I don't know if anybody caught on to this or not. So, if you look at what happened on SmackDown here with Jey Uso, I noticed something very, very interesting about him. Jay's hair is now an orange color in the back. It's no longer red. So he's not really sporting the Bloodline look as he previously was. Mm-hmm. Jimmy, on the other hand, Jimmy's hair still is red and black, but Jay's isn't. So what I'm predicting is going to happen here is Jay's not going to pick his brother, and he's not going to pick the Bloodline. Jay is going to walk away. Jay. He's going to be singles. That's where it's going to go from here. Jay is going to be main event Jay on his own. He's not choosing a side here. So that's what I predict is going to happen. And they're setting it up that way because it's time for Jey Uso to go on his own. It's time for Jimmy to go on there on his own and see what happens. And it'll be cool. You saying you keep Jay on SmackDown, you send Jimmy up to Raw is what I would do. Now, they just revealed the women's championship on Raw, the women's world championship for Rhea Ripley. And I have to say, out of the designs of both belts, I have to say I'm partial to the women's big gold. I'm partial to that one. I actually thought it looked pretty good. Roman's belt, I just Roman and Asuka's belts are just rehashes of what they've already done. What I would like to see, and I know this is never going to happen, but what I would like to see, since we have these two championships existing in the same universe, is I would really love if it was a set brand split, really two separate entities that don't ever meet up. And I would love for them to go back to having split pay-per-views like they used to do back in the day and split house shows. I would love that. I would love for, it should be the only time they come together is SummerSlam. The only time they come together is Survivor Series. The only time they come in, SmackDown presents WrestleMania Night 1. Raw presents WrestleMania Night 2. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to have these belts. Because what happens is that you look at them and say, well, shit, You telling me you didn't beat Balboa for the belt, so you're just a paper champion. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. That's kind of where I'm getting from it. You know what I mean?
I like it.
So, and that's kind of where we're at right now, looking back on it, because see, Seth Rollins is the workhorse champion. Gunther is the workhorse champion, bringing prestige back to the IC championship. Okay?
Yes, he is.
It's gonna break my heart if he beats the Honky Tonk Man's record, which could possibly happen.
It could happen.
It could happen.
How long has he had it so far?
He's had it for a while. I don't know the exact number around the top of my head, but he's had it for a minute. He's itching on Honky Tonk Man's record.
Yeah, he's had it for a minute.
So the only question right now is what are they going to do with the tag team championships, which have also been discussed about possibly giving them a makeover as well. There's talk that Austin Theory's United States Championship is going to get a makeover as well. So it looks like they're changing. They're changing all the belts, and because listen, Endeavor's got the company now. They're going to be fully fledged by the end of the year. They're changing everything. It's a new era, really, but it's the same old shit. To be honest,
True.
It's a new era, same shit. You look at the championships here. I mean, Roman is the most important champion in the company. I know they want to put the world title on Seth Rollins, and that's great. And Seth's going to go out there and knock it out the park. And Rhea Ripley is going to knock it out the park. But the only two championships that really matter in WWE are on SmackDown, which is the undisputed women's championship, undisputed championship that Roman has, and that's just what it is. I mean, the guy. It is what it is. That's the politics of wrestling.
Yeah, and I think them setting it up like that. Charlotte coming out and challenging Asuka is like, okay, I see where the importance is. I'm like that.
Because Charlotte Flair is on the same level of Roman Reigns,
right? At
this point, she is the female version of Roman Reigns.
I will agree with that.
I mean, when you look at Charlotte Flair and then you look at Becky Lynch, there ain't no comparison between the two. Charlotte is just on a whole different, a whole nother level. She always has been. The man gimmick and all that. I've really never been a fan of that. But Becky's got it over. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at the totality of the whole situation, Charlotte and Roman on the same show, that's your super main eventers. You can have main eventers and you got super main eventers. She's a super main eventer.
No,
that's what they are. Brock Lesnar is an attraction. Roman Reigns is a super main eventer. But also at this point, Roman is also an attraction. Because he only comes in when they need him to do something important to push the story along. That's when you see Roman Reigns.
And it's an event when he comes, too.
Right, it's a big deal. When when the tribal chief is coming, some shit's about to go down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I have to tell you, my favorite person right now on the roster right now is Solo Sikoa. That's my favorite dude on the roster. Solo is a modern day version of a hybrid Umaga and Taz put together.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
He has it. He has it.
He's on, and he has it more now than he did when he was on NXT.
Yes, I don't know what that jump was, but I'm glad he got it. I'm glad he got the jump.
I mean, they've been hitting out of the park this entire time. I mean, everybody in the bloodline, that whole thing, Roman, Jimmy J, Solo, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, they've been knocking it out of the park, that whole storyline, what they were doing there. So it's only going to get better from this point because now, Jay's got to make a decision. And a very interesting thing was he says, if I'm in the bloodline, you out the bloodline to, Paul Heyman.
Right.
Which was very interesting right there. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. But, you look at what else is going on the show. Exactly. Solo has the it factor. Yeah. He does. Solo has it. Solo will be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns when eventually it comes.
Eventually. I see that happening.
But what I see happening in the meantime, now that the Usos are not going to be part of the bloodline moving forward, okay, it's time to bring in these other family members that they have. It's time to bring in Jacob Fatu possibly to the WWE to bring him in and keep the bloodline going, just bringing in other members. Or they'll probably keep it the way it is. Who knows? You know what I mean? So we'll go with that. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the championships. You know, we already know what it is. You got the A champions and you got the B champions, and the B champions happen to be on Raw.
Yeah,
that's what it is. And I know that's not knocking Seth Rollins. It's not knocking Rhea Ripley, but we all know who the champions are. The most
big dogs
champions
are on SmackDown.
The big dogs are on SmackDown, exactly. Yeah. And then you talk about SmackDown. Let's move into the TV rights for a second, because it was reported the other day that SmackDown and Raw are up for renewal, and the time for Fox and NBC Universal to basically hold on to the rights have expired. So now they can go out to other areas and other entities to see if there's anybody else interested in picking up the WWE programming. Right now, it's being reported that Disney is interested in that. Amazon Prime is interested in possibly picking it up. There's also Netflix. My opinion on the matter, I don't think they go anywhere. I think WWE programming stays on NBC Universal. Now, SmackDown, I don't know about the Fox situation, but here's the thing. If WWE programming was to move to Disney, then they're going to end up being on FX, not ESPN. And that's going to be a problem, because they already have too much sports programming on ESPN to fit the WWE into that schedule. And you also have to look at, does the ESPN brand want to have WWE on its network, and it being a scripted show dilute their brand? So you have these situations here that you have to think about. I don't think they do. They already have their UFC situation, but that's considered, real combat sports. The WWE and the sports entertainment is a show. And ESPN, even though they were built on wrestling, AWA, that was years ago.
Right.
We're in a different time now, and I don't think they're going to take the chance here on putting that on their brand. That's why they would move it to an FX. Is why.
Well, I'll agree with you on some parts, and some parts I'm not disagreeing, but from what I see on ESPN, leads me to believe that they may be okay on an ESPN. And I think this may work better with a UFC on ESPN too. And the case in point is they already report, if you go to ESPN.com, there's a section on ESPN.com specifically for WWE, which the audience is already there. It's been there for years. It hasn't went anywhere. I think if you get that content and you plug it into an ESPN, I think they may be okay there. Where I think they may excel is the streaming, because ESPN Plus is a huge deal, and you can add that into the ESPN Plus category. Now, the only thing that I would worry about specifically is the network stuff. There's where you'd have the problem going with ESPN. And putting that anywhere in a streaming package, because that library is vast and you have to have enough room on ESPN Plus to fit all of that content. And I don't know if that would be the driving factor to be like, that's too much shit on one platform. But ESPN does really well with content and putting content out on ESPN Plus.
So what it comes down to with that part of it is, I don't really think that the programming is going to necessarily end up on ESPN Plus. The reason why is because, remember, they still got a contract right now with Peacock, and that contract is not even up yet.
Right, and that's where the problem will lie.
Right, and that's what leads me to believe that they're sticking with NBC Universal, strictly off of that contract they have for Peacock for the network.
Right.
Now, you can say this as well. Well, if they don't have, let's just hypothetically say they go to ESPN. Okay, cool. What do we do with the network? Well, we don't
Exactly.
have to put our programming on ESPN Plus because we can revert back to the WWE Network because the WWE Network still exists as its own network in other countries, not
Correct.
here in the United States.
Correct.
It's just the streaming rights. See, the stream Peacock has the rights to the network, but they don't even have the full network on Peacock. There's stuff that's still on the original WWE network that has never been on Peacock, still not on Peacock to this day.
Right.
So that's where that necessarily would be a problem. But do I think it happens? No, because Disney already has enough debt right now to begin with to be trying to go after the TV rights of the WWE. Then you have to put it on here as to, okay, so if we put if we say Amazon picks it up, okay, are people really gonna get Amazon subscriptions just to watch WWE programming? I don't
think so. No.
I don't think so. So that to me doesn't seem like a viable option. Then you have the other one, Netflix, right? Okay, they can go to Netflix. No, you don't really want to go to Netflix.
You don't want to do that either.
Netflix is a shit app at this point. So
it's shitty. It's shitty live. Their live programming sucks.
Yeah,
you don't want to do that.
Right. So obviously, at this point, you say, who do they go with? Who do you love? You say with NBC Universal. That's who you say with.
Yeah.
Is Fox gonna give them the same deal for SmackDown? I don't know. SmackDown brings in great ratings for Fox, and they bring in more advertisers. So I don't think they're going anywhere. Honestly, I really don't.
Yeah, Fox is a great deal. Plus, they're able to, and this is why I say they may work good on ESPN, is because Fox, with them advertising WWE, they gained a lot of those football viewers,
right?
From the football game. So, that is the only place I see them like really good. But then you still have the problem of the network. But if you're going to revive the network, then it works.
Well, I mean, but it's not really a revival. The network still exists,
right?
It's just you just bring it back. Oh, hey, the WWE Network is now available as its own entity here in the United States. Right. That's the only issue. It's not the network never went away. It still exists. It's just Peacock has the rights to it in the United States. That's the difference. So it's not like if WWE was going to go over to Disney. Oh, well, you can watch the WWE Network. That only would happen if they would bring the WWE Network would go to Disney Plus.
Right.
That's the only thing. And Disney Plus would love to have WWE Network because their subscription service is in the tanker right now. They're not really making any money off of Star Wars or any of the Marvel properties like they used to or what they thought they were going to do. You know, I saw the other day somebody was talking about the possibility that George Lucas would buy back Lucasfilm from Disney. And I don't see it personally happening. And it's because basically, I mean, you know, George Lucas, when he got that deal, he bought it with they sold it to him. Or I'm sorry, he sold Disney and got a bunch of stock options from Disney. So if the stock prices, you know, if Disney stocks drops, that depletes his income. It's kind of like what happened to old billionaire Ted back in the day with WCW and AOL Time Warner. So that's kind of where we're at. It's a lot of these little parts here that can become a big fucking problem.
Yep.
And
it's a bunch of slippery slopes.
Exactly. So we could go one direction or we can keep things where they are. Personally, with I don't know, you know, it's tricky because when it goes back to Disney, Nick Khan is actually, I think he's actually like really good friends with the guy that runs ESPN, the president of ESPN. He's a really good friend. Like Nick Khan has these connects.
Yeah.
And then Endeavor, you know, Ari has these connects as well over there. So it wouldn't be far fetched if they were to come to a deal with Disney, but Disney would just find some way to screw it up, like they've screwed up a lot of their properties that they had that aren't delivering.
That'd be a massive move, though. It would be a massive move.
It would be a massive move, and I don't know. It's just they've always had that relationship with NBC Universal. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. They're in the hunt right now. Also, real quick, Warner Brothers Discovery is also stating once again that they would be interested in picking it up. Now, for people out there listening to No Gimmicks right now,
I don't.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Even if they were to pick up WWE programming, AEW is not going anywhere.
No.
They're not going.
I would find that extremely interesting, though.
It would be interesting.
It would be very interesting
because,
if they coexisted on the same platform.
Yeah, because that means the Turner Networks would control
pretty much everything.
Yeah, the two big companies in wrestling, which is a far cry from back in the day when they didn't want wrestling on the network.
Yeah, so, that would be some shit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens in the future here with the TV rights deal for WWE. My personal opinion, I think that they stay with ABC, Universal, and Fox with a slight chance that Disney picks up the TV rights and they work out a deal and WWE is on ESPN or FX at this point because those are all under Disney.
Yep. Yeah, I like it. All right, moving on. So, as reported earlier in the day, per Fightful, looks like AEW might be getting some help on the creative end, and it looks like a longtime wrestler turned creative writer Jimmy Jacobs. He was spotted backstage in AEW. I think you posted in the No Gimmicks group that it was confirmed by Dave Meltzer that he is indeed on board in AEW. How big of a get is this, and how does this impact what they have going on?
Well, it's funny you say that. How does this impact what they have? Because
mean that.
He just came from Impact, so that's interesting you say it like that. No, I think that it's going to be very interesting to see creatively what they come up with because once again, Jacobs is working once again with Chris Jericho.
Right.
And I believe Jacobs was fired from WWE, I think, because he took a picture with the Young Bucks. Remember when the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club?
They tried to invade.
When they invaded Raw in Ontario or some shit. This when Cody Rhodes was out there with him and they had this like the big old Bullet Club thing out there and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, so he took a picture with them and then they let him go after that. Yeah. So I think that that Jimmy Jacobs got some he has an axe to grind here about some shit. And how do you do that? You go over to the competition, if you want to call it that. I think it's a get, but once again, is this somebody that Tony Khan is actually going to listen to and actually going to, be able to put out these creative ideas and not have anybody stifle that shit? That remains to be seen. But it is a good move for AEW to pick him up. Now that's a bad thing for Impact, obviously.
Right.
But it's a good thing for AEW because they need all the help they can get.
Yeah, they do. And I personally think this is a good get for them. Impact for the better part of 2 years has been creatively the best wrestling company out there. Their stories have always been on point. Their divisions are always great. The competition within the divisions are great. A lot of these wrestlers have left those companies like AEW. There's a few AEW wrestlers that left AEW and showed up on Impact and are doing well in Impact. And I think right now with the addition of him and the expansion of a Collision show, which they promoted heavily tonight, I think that's a great get for them. But I'm on your side with this one too. Will Tony Khan listen to him? Will he give him that creative freedom? And will he allow the stories to play out? Because I'll be honest. Impact Wrestling, their storylines, they're fire. They are really fire, and they allow things to breathe. I know Tony Khan's not a real fan of that, but they allow things to breathe. They allow things to play out. It's not rushed, and it's done really well. And he was really integral to that. So if they're bringing him in, I hope they let him have that freedom to let things breathe and play out and not rush a storyline and not just throw something together for the sake of throwing it together, but do something that makes sense. I hope they go that route.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me that so you have Tony Schiavone there, and you say that Tony Khan is not really a big fan of letting things breathe and just want to rush something.
Right.
One of the biggest things that made the NWO work in WCW was the commentary. Was Schiavone and them telling that story with Bobby Heenan and the serious tone that they had with the story, and they let the story breathe, and they would talk about it throughout the show, and not let you, even if it took away certain matches that were going on, they still kept you in.
They kept the story
going.
Yeah,
you don't have that, and there's no hook in AEW that's gonna make you want to keep watching that show, because you already pretty much know after that's done, you ain't gonna hear about it until next week.
Now, I will give them credit for something that they did tonight during the MJF and Adam Cole match. Which this is another thing I want them to get away from. Stop giving me such great shit in the beginning of the show. Like this should be like right before. If they did this card as a build-up, this is one of the best AEW Dynamites they could have come out with. But instead, they give us a good match and then a bunch of filler and then a good match at the end, which doesn't hurt. It's not that bad, but give me a build-up. I like a build-up, and maybe that's preference, but what they did in that match, in the first match, was they told the story throughout the match. The commentating was on point for this match. They were pointing out the things that were being focused on. MJF, the psychology of that match was actually really good. They told the story on the body parts and why he's focusing on it. Anytime it was harped on that he was focusing on the body part to soften it up, and they kept building up to a finish of the match, and it worked really well. I want them to do more of that. Like, I liked that commentating in that match, and the way they just built it up. It was serious. There were points in that match where I thought Adam Cole was actually legitimately hurt because they harped on his head injury, and how it's been hard for him to get back into the ring. So I like that part of it, and I like what they did in that match. It just wasn't consistent through the night. And if they do that consistently through the night, I think they may be hitting on something. That's just me.
So I guess my question would be, why do we have Adam Cole wrestling MJF for free on Dynamite?
I asked myself this question too, but the way they set this up, and I was like, okay, I guess. But even then, I was like, why am I getting this match on Dynamite? Like, it was a championship eliminator. So if Adam Cole won, he would challenge for the title. Okay, that's great. But I guess they got Forbidden Door coming. And after that match, Tanahashi challenged MJF. MJF said no. But then they came back, and that's one of those things. It doesn't make sense, right? Like, you go against MJF. MJF and Adam Cole start the show. They wrestle to a draw. And now he's challenging Tanahashi is challenging him for the title. He says no. All right, well, give me Adam Cole. No, I don't get Adam Cole. I get Tanahashi. And it just didn't make sense to me that I got Tanahashi. It didn't make sense to me that I got this match on Dynamite when this is a pay-per-view quality match. And the match was really good. And the match gave me psychology. And the commentating was excellent. Why am I getting this match as the first match on Dynamite? It didn't register with me.
Because he's sacrificing pay-per-view matches for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I wasn't a fan of it. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't a fan of that.
They could have saved that shit
This
until after Forbidden. These two shouldn't have even touched.
This should have been an all-in match. If you really want me to be really 100 with it, you should have built this match up to all-in. This could have been an all-in match.
Yeah, and speaking of all-in, okay, so if you notice about all-in, they're probably going to be about maybe 70,000 tops in the building at this point, which is impressive. It's the largest gate for it's the largest attendance for AEW, but there's been no mention whatsoever of if this thing is going to be on pay-per-view. Not a damn thing.
They're keeping things close to the vest, and it's pissing fans off.
Well, I don't think they're going to... I honestly think that this is not going to be on pay-per-view. I think this is going to be some taped shit, and they're going to play it later. That's why
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
That's what I think they're going to do. Because I remember back in the day when WWE did SummerSlam out there, they had recorded it and they played it Monday.
Right.
So I don't think that's necessarily they have to do that because I mean Money in the Bank is going to be in England, and they're going to be live. You know,
I would guess because Money in the Bank happens before All In, right?
Right.
I would guess, or I would suggest that you watch Money in the Bank and see what happens at Money in the Bank.
Why?
Because if they are live and it's on Peacock or whatever, presumed pay-per-view, premium live event, if that event is successful on a premium live event schedule, no way you should do this shit for free. There's no way. You have to do a pay-per-view. Otherwise, you're shooting shit, bro. It's like, why do that for free? Why build up?
Oh, I didn't say for free. I didn't say they were going to do it for free.
What are they going to do with it?
They could put that on that could be on the Fight TV app. That could be on a number of different places. It's most likely going to be on Bleacher Report. But here's the thing: it just would be a time difference. Is all it's going to be. They can produce a show live. Yeah, that's all it is. But like I said, they haven't even said they were going to do that. So that's kind of like because here's the thing: we're nowhere near the show. The damn show is in September. We're just barely, in the middle of June. So we got some time here. You know what I'm saying? We got some time for them to decide what they want to do. I think the biggest thing was, could we do this? Can we sell all these tickets?
Wait, now you know you can.
You can.
You did. But,
right.
All right, you need to work the logistics. Like the logistics, this event for them is so huge. You need to be on point with everything.
Yeah, it's big for them. It's big for AEW. It's big for the AEW roster.
It is.
And it's big. Now, and for WWE, it's like, who gives a fuck?
It's a drop in the pool for them. But like for AEW, this is the hugest thing that you've ever had. You have to be on point. This is like it's the biggest first impression that's not a first impression. If that makes sense.
Well, it's kind of like this Saturday with Collision.
Right.
And I'm like, you cannot recreate the CM Punk in Chicago shit that happened the first night he was there for Rampage. You can't recreate that.
I don't think they're trying to do that.
it's the second dance or some shit, the second coming or whatever the fuck it is they were calling it.
No, so based on the vignette that they played tonight, I don't think it's a good idea. But they're going to give him a live microphone. And in the vignette, he says, I don't know what I'm going to say until I have the microphone in my hand. But I have a lot to get off my chest.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. He's not going to go out there and say anything, without Tony Khan's approval. Obviously, you have to play it. We already know that this was a legal situation. This was illegal. Look, dude, you can say it all you want to. There's a thing called a contract. There's called you can't say shit disparagingly about the company. We can sue you for that. Now, Tony, now, Punk's on a contract, yeah, making millions of dollars, correct. But guess what Tony Khan has? Tony Khan's a billionaire, and he has lawyers. Okay, so follow what they're telling you. You can go out there and say whatever you want to, but remember, this is wrestling. It ain't real. Now, me personally, I would do Pipe Bomb number 2.0 is what I would do. I would go out there and shoot
and this
shit
is what
out of this shit.
That's what I think is coming.
That's what I would do.
That's what I think is coming.
But I think what's going to end up happening is I think Punk's going to turn heel. Is what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to heel up on the fans.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
That's what I think. I think people are thinking that he's going to go out there, he's going to bash the elite and all that. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to say the reason why I got hurt and all that was for you fucking idiots and yada 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 and all this bullshit. I think that's
you don't even want me here. You don't even want me.
I'm so toxic and all that, but yeah, everybody else is around the roster saying he's not toxic. Matt Hardy's come out and say he's not toxic. Billy Gunn has come out and say he's not toxic. So it was a bunch of bullshit. It was a bunch of fanboys that pretty much got offended because they thought this whatever they thought. I mean, look. My thing is this: a guy went out there and talked shit, basically called you guys out. Y'all should have just said, "Okay, whoop de whoop," and all this bullshit, and been man about it and been done with it. But they want to go and bust in somebody's fucking locker room and shit. And yeah, I'm gonna swing first because I don't know what y'all gonna do. And that's exactly what, from all reports, that's exactly what happened. He swung first.
Bomb first.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens on Collision on Saturday to see what he has to say.
I'll tune in.
I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how the stage will be for the show. Is it going to be Dynamite? Especially, is it going to be Dynamite Arena with just some change in the logos?
Maybe, but they announced tonight some matches. And they kind of set up one tonight, Willow and Sky Blue versus Toni Storm and Ruby is going to be this Saturday. Which, by the way, whoever booked Sky Blue versus Toni Storm, they need an Emmy. Thank you. Thank you and thank you. You need an Emmy. But yeah, they set up some things. Miro's going to be in action. Andrade is going to be in action. What else? They have some pretty good stuff set up. But the main event is CM Punk and FTR versus Bullet Club Gold and Samoa Joe.
What the hell is Bullet Club Gold?
But if I knew, I'd tell you. It's as simple as that. If I knew, I'd tell you. It's just two people, and it's Jay White and Juice Robinson. Yeah. So who's to say though? It's just going to be these two people moving forward. We're going. Exactly. They're called Bullet Club Gold, but the real Bullet Club is still out there. But are they wearing Bullet Club t-shirts? Yes. They come out to the Bullet Club music. Well, not that trashy ass new music they got. No, they come out to Jay White's music. Okay. Copy that. But it's They're wearing Bullet Club t-shirts, and they're saying they're Bullet Club gold.
Well, that's excellent.
Which leads me to think we may be getting Tama Tonga soon. I hope so.
Well, I know the WWF is trying to get Tama Tonga for what they say.
What are they going to do with Tama Tonga and WWE?
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know. These dumbass fucking people out here talking. Oh, put him in the bloodline. The dude's talking. He's not. He's not part of that family. Fuck, really? But everybody that comes in, put him in the bloodline. Put him in the bloodline. Put him in the bloodline.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's not a part of that family. He's not a part of that. But they say, oh, put him in the bloodline. Yeah.
Oh, shit. All right, last topic. So, we have a former Intercontinental Champion, one time. A former 5-time Slammy Award winner who has been making his rounds, spewing all of his hatred, the Ultimate Ryback.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, I'll be honest. Before the show, like we asked each other, because it's like Ryback talks so much, man, and it's like you'd swear he was like this monster in the WWE. But those are his accolades. Those are his actual WWE accolades. WWE Intercontinental Champion once, which he won in an Elimination Chamber. And he's won 5 Slammy Awards. Which, here's the Slammy Awards. Crowd Chant of the Year for Feed Me More in 2012. Match of the Year 2014. This was Team Cena versus Team Authority. Newcomer of the Year 2012. Shocker of the Year, which was the debut of the Nexus in 2010. And Trending Now, which is his Feed Me More chant in 2012. Those are his WWE accolades.
Wow.
Great, ain't it? But he talks so much, it's like I thought he won the WWE Championship on multiple occasions the way this guy's talking.
You know what? I don't have anything personally against him.
I don't either.
I don't get it. I compared him to the Ultimate Warrior. And what I meant by that was, Warrior had a high opinion of himself as well. You know what I'm saying? And Warrior, like Ryback, actually changed their name to the gimmick name.
Yep.
So in saying that, I will say this. The difference between the two is that Warrior actually accomplished shit in the business. Warrior beat the Honky Tonk Man. Warrior ended the 484-day reign of the Honky Tonk Man at SummerSlam 89. Or SummerSlam
became a made man.
I made a mistake there. SummerSlam 88 is when he beat him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He became a made man.
And then went on to have the biggest match in his career versus Hulk Hogan in the heyday of Hulkamania at WrestleMania 6 in Toronto at the Sky Dome, where he won the WWF Championship. Now, in saying that, go ahead.
Real quick. For those who don't know, that match, that one match, Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, was probably, I would say, the biggest match up until Hulk Hogan and The Rock. The height of that match it was crazy. You just had to be alive. It was crazy how hyped that match was. You had to be there. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. We've
I,
had bigger matches than Warrior and Hogan. The thing with Warrior and Hogan, the dynamic there was this was the first time you had two baby faces and
right,
in the main event. And
right.
guess what? Vince McMahon said he would never do it again. He hated it because
I loved it.
you split the crowd 50-50, and he did not like that dynamic at all. He hated it, and that's why they never did it again.
I loved it. It was amazing.
Well, they never did it again, but then they did it again at WrestleMania 12 with Bret and Shawn, but whatever. So
I loved it.
and saying all that, right? Ryback has a very high opinion of himself, but Warrior also, like I said, had a high opinion of himself. But Warrior actually did shit in the business. Warrior had good matches. Warrior actually, it was crazy because Warrior's actually, I think Warrior's was a better worker than Ryback. But it was because of this.
I'd agree with that.
Here's why Warrior was a better worker. It had something to do with athletic ability. It had to do with Warrior would listen. He would listen to Rick Rude. He would listen to Randy Savage. He'd listen to Hulk Hogan. And they pull off these stellar matches. Now, when you didn't have any of these guys involved, Warrior sucked ass in the ring.
Agreed.
He was shit.
Agreed.
You can only put Warrior out there in maybe a 1 or 2 minute squash match, and that was it. But if you had to do some kind of long-winded thing, it was horrible. Look at the match he had with Papa Shango. You know what I'm saying? Look at you know what I'm saying. I mean, just look at those matches. But anytime Warrior was out with Randy or Rick Rude or anybody like that, he could go out there and perform, no problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think with that situation, it's just funny to me that Ryback, has this very high opinion of himself. But if you look at the accomplishments, it's just they're not there. It's like everybody thought that Ryback was a Goldberg clone, Goldberg wannabe. And they talk about crowd chant. Trending, yeah, they used to. This is what they should have been talking about. How they used to chant Goldberg when he was out there, and that's legit. Go back and watch some of those old Ryback.
Oh yeah, it's true.
They would chant Goldberg as soon as the guy got in the ring.
This is true.
And I personally think that Ryback was a hell of a lot better wrestler than Goldberg. Yeah, he had more to his repertoire.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, because Goldberg had a few moves. Ryback had a few moves as well, but Ryback could go in there and work a longer match than Goldberg could.
I'll give you that.
So that's just all opinion. It's all wrestling. It's all it's all sports entertainment.
Yes, it is. It exactly. Is. It's just funny to me. He's talking that spicy.
Yeah. Well, he's always been spicy. He's always been one of those spicy guys. To go out there and talk shit. Because he knows he gets people talking. That's why we're talking right here with no gimmicks.
It's true.
That's it, man.
This is true. All right. Last thing for the night, and I wanted to bring this up again because last time we had a great discussion, and we did a Star Wars battle.
Okay.
And last time went pretty good. We had a pretty good discussion. Shout out to the homie Ant White. He did it again. He put out another one this week. So let's debate it. And last time we had Yoda versus Darkside Yoda. And we both agreed that Darkside Yoda would be the victor. So this week we have Darkside Yoda versus Darth Sidious.
Ooh.
Who wins?
Wow.
I'm going to give you my answer. I'll give you my answer now. So while you're thinking, I'm gonna roll with Darth Sidious on this.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah. I'm gonna roll with it. Yeah, I'm agreeing. So I'm going with Sidious. I mean, Darkside Yoda, yeah, I get that, but Sidious is like that's the motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have to debate too much on that one. But
Yeah.
I like Darkseid Yoda. I like what he brought to the table. I was saying when I saw this matchup, I would have loved to seen like what a full-time Darkseid Yoda looked like, because we only got a glimpse, a taste of what he could be. I would have loved to have seen Yoda commit and just go to the dark side, if only for a few minutes, just to see what that shit looked like. Because I have a feeling that shit would be scary for everybody.
Yeah, but the thing that we have to remember with Darth Sidious is a planner.
You're right.
And he's very patient with shit. I mean, look what he did with Anakin Skywalker.
Yep.
You know how he was secretly, built this empire right under the nose of the Republic and right under the nose of the Jedi, and now he had the clones had the inhibitor chips in them, and at the execute Order 66 right there. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta go with Sidious. Yoda, look, Darkseid Yoda, whatever. Yoda couldn't even sense what the hell was going on, and he's supposed to be the OG. Yoda's supposed to be that dude. The wisest of the wise of the Jedi. You know what I'm saying? He's that guy.
Yep.
And he could not even sense what was going on there. He couldn't sense that this plan was happening. The only one that kind of sensed kind of what was going on there was Mace Windu. When he says the dark side of the Force surrounds him, there's something going on here. There's a plot to destroy the Jedi or some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? So I'm rolling with Sidious. I mean, come on, Sidious killed his master, for God's sakes. So there you go.
All right, I got you. I'm with you on that one.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Nah, man, he's a tactician, a master manipulator.
He sure was.
Especially when Mace
Windu was tapping that ass. He says, "Oh, help me, Anakin! I'm weak. I can't hold on any longer."
Don't believe this motherfucker. He's gonna kill me.
No, don't.
Aha!
Unlimited power.
Ha! Got your ass.
Yeah.
Bitch, I got lightning in my hands, ho. Fuck you think?
Yes, good times.
All right, man. Final thoughts. What you got?
Final thoughts is people out there that are fans of the DC universe, go check out The Flash. It's theaters this weekend. Actually, starting up Thursday night is they're doing the first showings. And what I've heard from people that have actually saw the movie, this movie is top notch. It is the shit. And basically, Michael Keaton has come back and fucking saved this movie. This movie is supposedly all centered around his Batman and his universe. So go check it out.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Yep.
I hope. I really want to like this movie because Flashpoint Paradox that shit is fucking chef's kiss. And I don't even like DC like that. But that shit is awesome. So if this movie is any good, I'll go check it out. If you're saying that, I gotta go check it out.
Yeah, no, I've heard that from this. I've heard it from people who have actually seen it. They're not giving out spoilers, but people who've actually gone and saw it, and then the directors and the producers who have they talked about this. They talked about they wanted to put Ben Affleck's Batman and bring him back in the situation, but this movie is all about Michael Keaton's Batman, his universe, what's going on, his timeline. That's what it's all about. Mm. So, and originally, moving forward in this universe, Michael Keaton was supposed to be the Batman. That's where they were going. They were going to bring back the Burtonverse moving forward. And that was going to start with the Batgirl movie that got shelved. So we'll see what happens. But I think DC is going to have a monster on their hands with this one. And they're going to have to be like, oh, wait a minute. Can we do some more? Because, Michael Keaton's back anyways, back in the spotlight because, they're doing Beetlejuice, the new Beetlejuice movie.
Right.
So Keaton's back, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I fucks with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll go check it out. I still got to go check out Spider-Man Across the Multiverse too, but looks like I got to go check this one out too. So.
Yeah, great.
All right, man. Anything else before we get up out of here?
Yeah, so basically right here in the great state of Texas, tomorrow is supposed to be going to be 103 degrees outside, right?
Fuck that.
So if you have your animals out there, specifically your dog walkers, right? I say this to you. If you don't like walking out in the heat barefoot because it blisters your feet, right? What do you think it's going to do to your fucking dog's paws? Do you think they like it? No, they don't like it. So let's keep the dogs on the inside. Let's keep them in the air conditioner. Don't have them outside and abandoned for hours on end. It's just like leaving a child in a car with the windows rolled up like you stupid motherfuckers. Don't do that. All right? Let's just basically take care of your animals. And if you really want to take care of them, you want to control the pet population. But we don't have all these animals running all around and shit with no homes and all this shit and seeing them on the side of the road after they've been hit by cars and shit. Just a bunch of bullshit. Have your pets spayed or neutered. Yes. And that's all Frankie has to say about that. And if you don't like it, I got 2 words for you.
All right, man. That's all. I have nothing else. Oh, one last thing. August 12th, San Antonio, Texas, Mission Pro Wrestling, Boiling Point. We're going to be working our way to sponsoring that card as well. So go check it out. But that's it. So for myself, for Frank D, for the No Gimmicks podcast, for the Dat Feeling Podcast Network, thank you guys for tuning in to No Gimmicks. Until next time, have a good one and enjoy the fucking wrestling.